Hello, I'm Elaine Floyd, Director of Retirement and Life Planning for Horse's Mouth and author of the Savvy Social Security Planning for Boomers package. In this orientation, I'll be introducing you to the 5 Savvy calculators so you can get an idea of how they work and how you can use them to help clients incorporate Social Security into their retirement income planning decisions. The calculators included in your package are the Simple Break-Even Calculator, the Reinvest Break-Even Calculator, the Retirement Spending Break-Even Calculator, the Spousal Planning Calculator, and the Benefit Adjustment Calculator. All of the calculators are Excel files which have been programmed for savvy Social Security planning. There's nothing mysterious about them. All they do is take the Social Security estimates you enter for the client, project out those estimates using the default cost of living adjustment of 2.8% or whatever COLA you choose, and display the future income stream in several different ways depending on your purpose. This is an example of the income stream shown by the Spousal Planning Calculator, which we'll talk about in Part 3 of this calculator orientation series. Appendix A on page 163 of the Financial Advisor's Guide to Savvy Social Security Planning explains how to use the calculators. That document has also been posted on www.savvysocialsecurity.net under the Calculators tab. During this presentation, we'll go over the information in Appendix A and explain how to use the calculators. It may help you to read the appendix first or go over it after this presentation so you'll be sure not to miss anything. The numbers we'll be showing here may be different from those on your sample calculators, but the principles are the same. Each calculator has a slightly different purpose. The Simple Break-Even Calculator is the simplest. It shows the break-even age if benefits are started later versus earlier. The most common analysis is age 62 versus 70, but you can enter any 2 ages and the corresponding benefit amounts, and it will show you the break-even age. The calculator shows the age at which cumulative benefits from the later claiming scenario begin to exceed and overtake cumulative benefits from the earlier claiming scenario. The idea is this: if you start Social Security benefits at 62, your benefit will be considerably lower than if you start at age 70. For example, if you're 62 now and have a primary insurance amount, or PIA, of $2,200, if you start your benefit at 62, it'll be $1,650. If you start at 70, it'll be $3,622, assuming 2.8% annual cost of living adjustments. So starting later gives you a permanently higher amount, but of course you miss out on all those checks between the ages of 62 and 70. So the break-even analysis adds up all the cumulative benefits and determines the age at which the total from claiming at 70 begins to exceed the total from claiming at 62. The 2 columns of cumulative benefits show the higher number in bold, so all you have to do is refer to the age the client will be when the bold type switches over from column E to column H. That's the client's break-even age. Here we see it's 78. I should say that studies have shown that the break-even analysis leads to earlier claiming behavior. The reason is that people don't like to start out behind. They think they're getting ahead of the game by starting their benefit at 62. But as the calculators show, at some point they will fall behind if they take a permanently reduced benefit at 62. The Simple Break-Even Calculator assumes benefits are spent. In other words, it does not assume a rate of return on invested benefits. The Reinvest Break-Even Calculator does allow you to assume benefits will be invested. We'll talk about that in a minute. All the calculators assume benefits will increase by a 2.8% annual cost of living adjustment. This is the projection the OASDI trustees use under their intermediate cost scenario, so it's the default projection in our calculators, but you can change it if you want. We'll talk more about COLAs in Part 2 of this calculator series. Once you've run the calculator and determined the break-even age, you ask the client, do you think you will live longer than the break-even age? If so, you'll end up with more total lifetime benefits if you delay the start of benefits to age 70. If not, claim at 62. Because this calculator is so simple, it's good for introducing clients to the break-even concept, but it has a number of shortcomings. For one thing, the Simple Break-Even Calculator is not good for couples because there is a strong likelihood that one spouse will live longer than the break-even age. When working with married couples, you're dealing with 2 life expectancies, and because the higher earner's benefit transfers over to the surviving spouse as a survivor benefit, he could die long before the break-even age, and the couple would still be better off if he delayed his benefit to age 70, because his higher benefit will continue. This is shown more effectively by the spousal planning calculator, which we'll cover in more depth in Part 3 of this calculator orientation series. The Reinvest Break-Even Calculator is like the Simple Break-Even Calculator, except it assumes benefits are invested. You can choose the rate of return you want to assume for the illustration. The higher you go, the higher the break-even age will be. But do keep in mind that if you go over about 4%, you're assuming more risk than the fixed Social Security formula. In other words, the calculator may show a high break-even age, leading a client to apply for early benefits and invest them, but if the return doesn't match the projections, the client is taking the risk that he would have been better off delaying his application and starting a higher benefit later. I must say that in today's low interest rate, low return environment, Social Security is looking like a pretty good investment. You can't match the returns available in other risk-free investments today. The Reinvest Break-Even Calculator should really only be used if the client will actually be investing his Social Security benefits. That is, he has other sources of income and is willing to accept the risks associated with those investments. Again, this calculator is not suitable for couples, as one spouse is likely to live beyond the break-even age and keep that higher benefit going. For early retirees, the Retirement Spending Calculator can help with the decision to withdraw funds from the IRA or start Social Security early. This calculator looks at the source of income to meet a defined spending need. Let's say the client is 62, retired, and needs $6,000 a month or $72,000 per year to live on. Should he start Social Security now, or should he delay to age 70, even if it means drawing more from personal assets to meet the spending need? The Retirement Spending Calculator shows that if he starts Social Security early, he'll need to take less from personal assets in the early years, but more in the later years as the lower starting benefit fails to keep up. Conversely, if he starts Social Security at 70, he'll need to take more from personal assets in the early years, but less in the later years because his benefit will be so much higher. The goal is to have more of the spending need met by Social Security so that less needs to be taken from personal resources in the long run. The Retirement Spending Break-Even Calculator shows the age at which the Social Security benefit under the later claiming scenario begins to catch up so that fewer total personal resources are needed to meet the spending need. All the break-even calculators show the income stream with the higher cumulative amount in bold, so you can see at a glance what the break-even age is. I'll show you how to design different claiming scenarios for the break-even calculators in Part 4. All the calculators show the income stream over the client's projected lifetime, so clients won't be so short-sighted about taking benefits as soon as they're available. As with all financial planning decisions, it's important to keep a long-term perspective about Social Security. The Spousal Planning Calculator is for use with married couples. It shows the lifetime income stream under various claiming scenarios. For example, what if the husband applies for Social Security at 66 and the wife applies at 62? What if he claims at 70 and she claims at 66? These are the kinds of scenarios you'll enter into the Spousal Planning Calculator. Then the calculator will show the income stream so clients can see the long-term effect of their decisions. After you've entered all the scenarios you want to work with, the summary page compares them all and shows which scenario provides the highest income and the highest cumulative benefits at 5-year intervals. Here's an example of the scenario summary page. Again, the higher number is in bold, which allows you to see at a glance which scenario will produce higher income and higher cumulative benefits. This calculator helps married couples understand the long-term implications of claiming decisions made today. It's especially effective in showing what the wife's survivor benefit will be based on when the husband started his benefit. Many clients don't realize that the surviving spouse is being significantly shortchanged if the high-earning spouse files for benefits at 62. In addition to helping couples decide when to claim Social Security, the spousal planning scenario analysis leads to a broader discussion of retirement income planning, including survivor planning. You'll be showing the couple how much their Social Security income will be. Since it probably won't be enough to meet all of their spending needs, you can talk about their other assets and how much income they can expect from IRAs and so on. Also, the calculator allows you to enter life expectancies for the husband and wife. The default life expectancies are 85 for the husband and 95 for the wife, so you can show the wife how much her Social Security income will be after her husband dies and can talk about whether or not this will be enough for her. By far, this will be your most used calculator because it helps in strategizing. Spousal planning is very complex because each spouse is of a different age and has a different benefit amount, so it's not always easy to know who can do what and when. The spousal planning calculator lays everything out for you so you can help clients strategize about when to start Social Security and how to take advantage of spousal benefits. The Benefit Adjustment Calculator is a worksheet that allows you to make adjustments. If you know the client's age and primary insurance amount, the Benefit Adjustment Calculator will estimate the benefit adjusting for the actuarial reduction if claiming before full retirement age, or the delayed credits if claiming after full retirement age, as well as cost of living adjustments between now and then. You really only need this calculator for determining benefit amounts for use in the simple break-even calculator. All the other calculators automatically do the adjustment and figure out what the client's benefit will be based on the PIA. We'll talk more about this later. There is one other use for this calculator, a special spousal calculation when the lower earning spouse claims a spousal benefit at her full retirement age after claiming her own benefit before full retirement age. Some people think that if a lower earning wife claims her own small benefit at 62 and then applies for her spousal benefit at 66, that she will jump up to the full 50% of her husband's PIA as her spousal benefit. This is not true. So under that one particular scenario, you'll have to manually calculate the new spousal benefit. This will be covered in Part 3 of this calculator orientation series. All of the Savvy Social Security planning calculators are based on the client's primary insurance amount as estimated by the Social Security Administration. In Part 2, I'll show you several ways to obtain the client's PIA.